Hello, Connective. Have the Getting into the Vortex from Esther and Jerry Hicks again. Getting into the Vortex deck. Gonna see if we could get one card today to pop up from this deck for us. One card to talk about today. Okay, good. Let's see what we got. Everything is always working out for me. Let me read this. Nothing ever goes wrong because every piece of contrast, no matter how wrong it seems to be, is always helping you to clarify what it is you do want. And that is the thing that we want you to remember most of all. The contrast, no matter how it looks in any moment, is contributing mightily to your expansion. The things that you call things going wrong in your life experience are actually only the distance between the things that are so right and your current perspective about them. You know, I just talked about this in another Vortex thing about, another Vortex reading about the way you look at things. Your perspective of it and how your perspective can help to shape more than just how you see it, but how it turns out. It's really true. It's so funny too, because when that video was over, I had another thought, that's something I didn't say in the video, and it really just applies to this card too. First of all, I want to address the last part of this card. The contrast, no matter how it looks in any moment, is contributing mightily to your expansion. The things that you call things going wrong in your life experience are actually only the distance between the things that are so right and your current perspective about them. You wouldn't know what was right if you didn't have a gauge of what was wrong. So that's the first thing. That's why they call it contrast. Contrast for them, that description of contrast is like the really ugly things in your life, the things that you call, things going wrong is a mild description. Contrast is all the ugly things that have happened to you that you need to heal from. And it's basically showing you what you do want. When you experience certain things in your life, they make you realize that, you just want peace in your house or your family, or you just want love in your house or your family, or whatever it is, because that other thing that you got that was like the opposite makes you realize that no, I want, not only do I not want that other thing, but I want this. You understand? Otherwise, you just kind of float through and things would happen and you go, ooh, but you wouldn't say, hey, what, instead of that, maybe I can look towards this, Let me get to the top of the card now. Nothing ever goes wrong because every piece of contrast, no matter how wrong it seems to be, is always helping you to clarify what it is you do want. And that is the thing that we want you to understand most of all. So basically the same thing, things going wrong, pointing out what you do want. And, if it wasn't for the things that you don't want, you wouldn't know about what you do want. But, more importantly is this statement, everything is always working out for me. If you do ever watch Abraham, if you ever do, there are channels on YouTube and stuff like that play clips and excerpts of conversations with Abraham. If you do watch enough of it, you'll hear Abraham say that a lot. Like, even when they're talking to someone else and someone else is saying, well, this in my life and that in my life and everything's good, and Abraham will say, everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. because it's not just a mantra. It's actually true. It really is. Like, going back to the back of this card, like even when it says like, oh, the things that we don't want, sometimes the things that we don't want have to happen to get the things that we do want. That balance that, everybody thinks that karma is a bad thing. Oh, I hope they get their karma. Like, karma is balance. So if you've gone through your life and all you've gotten is contrast, you're still waiting for your karma. You're still waiting for that balance. Everything is always working out for you. It's designed that way. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it because you're still in that bad phase, and it can go for decades. I shit you not, but when you get through it, when you start to realize that you're getting through it, that balance is coming, there's a huge shift. You definitely know that everything is working out for you, if not anything else. If you don't know that you're protected or that you're a major manifester or anything else, you know that everything's working out for you. Some people that are on spiritual awakenings know that aren't on spiritual awakenings have known this their whole lives. They just know. I remember talking to a lady one time when I still lived in fear, when I was still in survival mode, and she wasn't on any kind of spiritual awakening. She just happened to be the middle child who didn't really get anything, that she got the hand-me-downs from the one, above her, and the one below her got all the attention, and her husband wasn't doing exactly what she wanted him to do, but her whole attitude was, everything is always working out for me. God provides. Whatever I want, I get. I always get what I need. I'm not worried about it. And I was like, damn. Nothing like a breath of fresh air to teach you how maybe you should just understand that it is not happening to you, as they say, when life is happening to you. Life is working for you, literally the words, for you. It's really true. I know that sometimes it doesn't look like it. And I get, a lot of people being in despair when they're in the middle of it and they're in despair. And we're not even just talking about people on like spiritual awakenings. We're talking about people who aren't on spiritual awakenings, who, just don't know where to turn, don't know who to talk to, don't feel a certain way, and they feel it over and over again, and they don't know how to ground themselves, And I get that. There's a lot of that. But like I said, I want everybody to be mindful that you do not have to be on a spiritual awakening to know that everything is always working out for you. And if you're on a spiritual awakening and you don't know this, you should still tell your friends who don't know that, who aren't on a spiritual awakening. And someday you'll know that. If you listen to Abraham or they listen to Abraham, people will know it. They'll know that everything's working out for them. Before I even really knew this, I just kind of knew what I had been through, and, that I had some healing to do, and then I had some work to do as far as like, in service to others, and I kind of knew that I needed to, be there for others so they could have an easier time than I had, and it was even before I knew anything about this concept. I already looked at what was happening for me, me being able to help others and all that, as something that was working out for me. It didn't occur to me that there was other things in motion that just hadn't happened yet that were working out for me, that were designed to work out for me from the very beginning, that was planned way ahead of time, that it was supposed to go this way. And, I've said this before in another video, at least one other video that I was talking about your plan, that plan that you make for yourself before you come down here. You don't make a plan that sets you up for failure. I mean, it can be kind of harsh. The plan can be messed up. I'll be honest with you. When I found out what my plan was, I had that feeling. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm telling you guys this. But when I was a kid, if there's any kids on this video, I want you to turn this video off right now. Turn it off. When I was a kid and I learned that there was no Santa Claus, I was pissed at my mom for lying to me. I was a little kid too. I was pretty young when I found out because my mom, she, I probably just got tired of it. I don't know, but so maybe it was the way it was broken to me. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that as a person, as an adult, and especially as a child, yeah, for sure, I didn't like being lied to, and I was mad about that, right? So when I found out about my spiritual plan, like what the plan was, because I was digging into something else and I was trying to figure out if it was true, and there was parallels, and I didn't want to be in the situation, and so it highlighted what actual situation I was in. And when I learned that, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't even really dug into it because so many other things made sense when I figured this out, that I actually didn't really have to do what I needed to do to get past that. When I learned what my spiritual plan was, I was kind of pissed. I felt like it was overkill. Like I felt like I was like, why didn't you just stop? After I was like, wow, like that's cruel and unusual punishment. Like I went through several stages of that's a lot of people, and that's a lot of people just treating me the same way, and I can kind of see the mistake that I made in the way that I probably could have made different decisions, about maybe how I handled them, how I let them handle me, or anything like that. But, even going back and looking at things from an empowered point of view, sometimes you don't even see really what you could have done, especially like as in certain situations, there was not a whole hell of a lot. Like I talk about having choices and stuff, but I'm talking about right now, like extreme situations of abuse, like like from children, they don't have a lot of choice. You can't say that. And if you've ever been in this situation, you still can't say it. I don't care. So it's different for everybody. So, to be like, to where you're in a situation and you kind of go, wow, like this and this and this and this and this, like why don't you just do it to me once, or why don't you just and again, going into situation after situation with people who are supposed to play different roles in your life, but they're all kind of doing the same thing, and people you wouldn't expect. I'm not even talking about, like, again, looking at it from an empowered point of view and being like, oh, I should have known that teacher was going to treat me this way. No, like, how would you even know? But even then, we're not just talking about, like, people who are potentially strangers or people you only dealt with for a semester or 5 minutes. I'm talking about, like, life players in your people who have really important jobs to, like, support and nurture you, but they can't find it in their heart to, like, even be there, and you kind of look at the situation and you go, what in the heck, and it can be kind of like hard to see that. But you know what, based on a lot of other things that I knew in this life, based on things that I knew about, the nature of balance and the law of attraction, and how things kind of spin around, and the way the world works. Even like I say, before my spiritual awakening, I didn't believe in instant karma until I saw it, and yeah, I've seen it more than once. So it's one of those things where you get to the point where you understand that if somebody's in a bad, I promise you, it's not always going to be that way. It can't really. And I know sometimes people say, every time I say it can't get worse, it does. I get that too. I get it. But again, don't approach things from that way, like of looking at how bad it is. Again, that's focusing on the negative. That's what you want to be saying to yourself when you're in something like that. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Until we meet again.